Chosen one, there is a hum beneath your days that did not begin with you and will not end with you. If you sit still long enough in the morning, you can hear it under the kettle, beneath the traffic, inside your chest. It is not anxiety. Anxiety scrambles. It is not nostalgia. Nostalgia edits. This sound is older and simpler. It is calling rather than craving. God has tuned your life to a higher note, and the world is starting to harmonize. The result is a pull that does not shout and does not bargain. Doors notice you before you knock. Conversations drift your way like boats released from small ropes. Strangers smile as if they recognize a face from a dream they never remember. You are not imagining it. Heaven has raised your voltage and wrapped it in purpose. You do not need to manufacture this current with strategies or spectacle. You do not need to decorate it with a performance. The assignment is quieter. Carry it well. The love of your life is not arriving because you have finally learned the right lines or perfected the right pose. They are arriving because your spirit has grown honest enough to be found. The magnetic field around you is not about conquest. It is about coherence. Your mind and body have stopped arguing with each other, and the peace between them throws a signal farther than any spotlight could. This is why you feel less compelled to chase and more inclined to stand where you truly are. What is meant for you can find you now because you are not hiding from yourself. Understand the mercy of this timing. All the slow seasons, the failed almosts, the brave endings were not punishments. They were preparation. God was sanding edges you did not know could cut. He was teaching you the difference between loneliness and readiness, between intensity and intimacy, between attention and affection. Loneliness begged for noise. Readiness learns to be quiet enough to hear footsteps that do not stomp. Intensity arrived as fireworks and vanished in smoke. Intimacy builds like dawn and keeps its light. Attention consumes you as content. Affection returns you to yourself. Your months have been a curriculum, and you have passed enough tests to carry what is precious without breaking it. Your high sexual energy is not a sin to be smothered, nor a trophy to be paraded. It is a language, and God speaks it fluently. He will not mute what He made. He will teach it to say true things. In lesser seasons, that current ran ahead of your character and bought moments your soul could not afford. Now, the current and the character travel together. Desire does not demand, it directs. Longing does not leak, it listens. You can hold heat without turning the room into weather. You can feel the pull without turning anyone into a prize. This is the maturity that lets destiny touch the body without confusing it for a bargain. You will notice the pull in ordinary places, in the way a cashier lingers on your change as if time had widened by a breath, in the way a friend of a friend suddenly feels familiar, in the way a conversation skips small talk and lands on a sentence that stays with you into the night. None of this requires you to become louder. In fact, your quiet will be the most persuasive thing about you. It tells the room you are not renting a story, you are living one. It tells the one who is looking for you that they do not need to audition to be allowed in. The divine pull is not a hook, it is a harbor. People feel it and rest before they even know why. Do not hurry this hour. The pull is not proof that you must move fast. It is proof that you can move faithfully. You will be tempted to sprint because warm air makes lungs feel stronger than they are. Resist the theater of rushing. Walk at the speed where truth can keep up. Let your words be the size of your intentions. Let your eyes be the place where another person's dignity does not have to brace. Let your goodbyes be clean enough to make room for tomorrows that are not obligated by tonight. God is not delivering your future by overnight mail. He is walking it to you at a human pace so your character can greet it at the door. Do not confuse inevitability with entitlement. Favor is not owed, it is entrusted. Stewardship is how you say thank you. Keep the simple practices that made you clear enough to be found. Sleep that protects your kindness, prayer that keeps your edges soft and your spine straight, work that tells your body it is useful for more than display, counsel that can correct you without building a courtroom. These things are not accessories to romance. They are the foundation that keeps joy from becoming debt. Your pull will increase or decrease with these choices. Your story is not at the mercy of luck. It is being written in the margins of your habits. You are allowed to enjoy this. Holy things are not fragile when handled with reverence. Smile when the timing is uncanny. Laugh when the sentence lands like a key in a lock you forgot you owned. Write it down when a small sign repeats twice, then again, as if God is having fun threading breadcrumbs where even you can't miss them. Enjoy the way your body relaxes around peace and stands taller in honor. Enjoy the way your voice settles into a tone that does not negotiate its own value. Enjoy the way rooms feel brighter without feeling harsher. Joy is not a trap. It is evidence that hope is allowed to be at home in you. When the day ends, return the pull to the one who lent it. Name the moments you almost used it to make yourself larger and thank God for the restraint that kept you recognizable to your own soul. Name the moments you felt seen without being consumed. Name the names, even if you only met them once, and bless them with a prayer that does not try to hire the future. Sleep as someone who trusts that magnets do not lose their strength in the dark. Morning will come, and the hum will still be there, patient, steady, sure. Walk in it without vanity and watch what is yours find its way home. Chosen one, desire tells the truth about what is alive in you. It is not the enemy of holiness, it is the instrument holiness tunes. This month, your desire will function like a mirror you cannot avoid. It will show you where you are whole and where you are hungry, where you are ready and where you are rehearsing, where you have learned to hold fire like a craft and where you still treat it like weather. Look without flinching. God is not shaming you with this reflection. He is inviting you to read it rightly so you can speak the language of your body without lying about your soul. The mirror will first clarify your past. You will recognize patterns you used to call chemistry that were actually chaos wearing cologne. You will remember connections that felt urgent because you mistook adrenaline for anointing. You will see how often your gaze asked for performance when what you wanted was presence. Do not condemn the younger version of yourself. Bless them for surviving without a map, and thank them for bringing you this far. Then take the pencil from their hand. You are writing now with a steadier stroke. Desire under discipline does not erase passion. It gives it somewhere to live. Your high sexual energy is a river. The mirror is showing you its banks. Without banks, a river floods fields and calls it romance. With banks, it irrigates, it powers mills, it carries boats. The person coming toward you is not a floodplain to be overwhelmed. They are a garden to be honored. The mirror will ask simple questions with complicated answers. Can you hold attraction without turning it into appetite? Can you let admiration be a gift instead of an invoice? Can you pace longing so that trust has time to grow roots and not just flowers? These are not exams you pass in theory. You pass them by how slowly your hand moves when your name is praised, by how early your mouth says a gentle no to anything that would make you someone you have already repented of being. Desire mirrors desire. The one you meet will not be a blank wall reflecting only you. They will have their own river, their own banks, their own weather. The beauty of this month is not that you will finally be allowed to be large. It is that you will finally be allowed to be matched. Expect to feel the rare relief of being seen where you are strongest and where you are softest without having to negotiate either. Expect to learn new rhythms because two instruments tuned to the same key still need time to learn a shared song. Expect to be surprised by how much silence can hold when trust is building a frame around it. A true mirror rejects vanity. It refuses to flatter you into forgetting your vows. As warmth grows, the reflection will test whether your boundaries are decorations or doors. You will feel the old urge to speed the hour because everything in you is finally facing forward. Breathe. If the future is truly yours, it will not be lost to a slower pace. If it is not yours, speed will not make it faithful. Remember that timing is not a tax. It is an act of reverence for the humanity on both sides of the moment. The mirror will remind you, you came here to love, not to win. Desire, purified, becomes direction. You will notice your preferences simplifying. Instead of craving spectacle, you will crave continuity. Instead of hunting for perfection, you will look for the kind of integrity that ages well. Instead of needing an audience, you will find yourself needing a kitchen table where laughter does not require collateral damage and disagreement does not threaten the future. The mirror will make you honest about the life you are truly building. It will ask whether your calendar can host the love you pray for, whether your habits are hospitable to another person's heart, whether your plans leave room for the unpredictabilities of grace. This mirror will also protect you from counterfeits. Not everything that glows is guidance. Some smiles will be invitations to repeat an old lesson louder. Some coincidences will be tests of whether you love a sign more than the sender. The counterfeit will praise your brightness and then quietly ask you to dim your conscience. The real will enjoy your brightness and then invite your conscience to sit at the table. The counterfeit will rush intimacy and call caution fear. The real will honor pace and call clarity love. You do not need to argue with the counterfeit. Stand still long enough, and your reflection will tell you everything you need to know. Let the mirror teach your body new manners. Touch, when it comes, must be fluent in the language of consent and covenant, not dialects of entitlement. Words, when they deepen, must be paid for by reality, not purchased on credit against a fantasy. Time, when it is shared, must be stewarded like the holy place it is. These are not restrictions designed to make love smaller. They are the edges that make love take shape. Desire without edges is a fog that leaves everyone damp. Desire with edges is a window where light looks like itself. The mirror will also show you joy you almost forgot you could feel. There will be moments when your chest warms at nothing but the sound of a voice you trust. There will be evenings that end without cliffhangers and still feel glorious. There will be mornings when your first thought is gratitude without a bargaining chip hidden underneath it. This is what desire looks like when it is no longer trying to prove that you are alive. It looks like peace with a pulse. It looks like laughter that lands gently and stays. It looks like the ability to be fully present without calculating the cost of being honest. At the close of the day, return to the mirror that cannot lie, God's face towards you. Hold up everything you noticed. The pull that felt like promise, the glance that felt like home, the sentence that made you braver, the moment you wished you had been softer, the boundary that held. Ask for help where your reflection revealed a crack. Thank Him where the image grew clearer. Then step away and sleep. Mirrors do not make you, they show you. God makes you, and He is not finished. You will wake with the same river and stronger banks, and somewhere not far now, another river is learning your name. Chosen one, before love takes a seat at your table, God teaches your hands how to set it. He has been preparing you with the patient tools of a craftsman, not the glitter of a stagehand. The ache you carried in quieter months was not proof that heaven forgot you. It was the tension a bow must hold before it can sing. You learned to live with that pull without spending it carelessly, and the learning made room inside your chest for something larger than adrenaline. The love of your life belongs in that room, not in the rush that used to knock on your door at inappropriate hours and call itself fate. Preparation begins with honest inventory. Walk through the rooms of your interior house the way a careful steward walks a property after winter. What is cracked from cold and needs warmth? What is warped by hurry and needs time? What is simply heavy because it held more than it was designed to hold? You will find stories you have been telling yourself about why good things avoid you. You will discover that some of those stories were just armor that lived too long. Lay them down. They were useful once, they are untrue now. God is not asking you to forget the corridors you survived. He is asking you to stop renting them a permanent address in your future. Your high sexual energy is part of this audit. It does not require suppression, it requires stewardship. Treat it as a current that powers the home rather than lightning that chases headlines. Let it fund attentiveness so you hear what is said and what is trusted to silence. Let it pay for patience, so pace becomes a gift rather than a test. Let it resource craftsmanship in the work you do, because the way you handle assignments is a rehearsal for the way you will handle a heart. When energy learns its lanes, it stops insisting and starts serving. In that shift, your presence changes temperature from impressive to safe, and safety is where love recognizes itself. Preparation also looks like forgiveness practiced without an audience. Not the cheap variety that denies hurt, but the strong kind that releases claim. Old grievances are loud little creditors. They keep knocking long after the debt is settled. Speak to them plainly. I will not charge my next covenant for your interest. Forgive those who did not know how to read you. Forgive the version of yourself who tried to be readable by shrinking. Forgive the delays that were actually kindness disguised as inconvenience. Forgiveness is not amnesia. It is the decision to let healing have the last word when memory tries to rehearse pain as identity. Make room in ways that can be measured. Clear a drawer. Empty a shelf. Put a spare tea somewhere it has never existed before. Set an extra plate at dinner, even if nobody sits there tonight. The body understands symbols better than the mind pretends. It will begin to live as if welcome is possible. And while you are at it, adjust your calendar, the way a gardener adjusts the trellis before the vine arrives. Leave margins that can cradle spontaneous joy. Choose bedtimes that protect your best self in the morning when attention returns to you, because the first minutes of the day are where tenderness learns its gait. Your readiness is not a mood, it is infrastructure. Speak to God about your standards until they are sentences you can say with a gentle voice and a straight spine. I will not hurry what I hope to honor. I will not spend my integrity to buy intimacy on credit. I will not confuse the thrill of being seen with the work of being known. These are not slogans for a wall. They are tools for a life. Hold them in your pocket where your hands can find them when admiration arrives, warm and persuasive. The right person will hear these lines and feel safer. The wrong one will hear them and grow impatient. Either way, you will not be confused for long. Learn to bless endings while they are still small. A good goodbye is a rehearsal for covenant, because covenant depends on boundaries that can keep wonder from souring. End evenings before scarcity starts negotiating. End conversations before explanations outnumber truths. End flirtations without ceremony when you notice you are being asked to trade clarity for chemistry. Each clean exit teaches your soul that love does not require drama to be memorable. It freights your spirit with a lightness that makes meeting the right person feel like a continuation rather than a rescue. Invite counsel from the few whose lives carry the fruit you hope to grow. Let them ask you the unglamorous questions every bright season tries to dodge. Are you rested enough to be kind? Are you telling the truth to yourself when nobody is grading you? Are you building a life that can host a second soul without asking them to live as your solution? These questions will sand away hurried fantasies without touching your hope. They will also tune your ear to distinguish between the music of destiny and the noise of attention. Attention is cheap and loud. Destiny is steady and knows your name. Practice the language of consent until it is the accent of your life. The love of your life will be fluent in it. You cultivate this by asking before you move closer, by offering exits that do not turn anyone into a villain, by honoring no as information rather than injury. Consent is not a checkpoint that turns green and lets the night go faster. It is the climate where yes can be joyful. When your manner makes consent easy, you are not merely behaving well. You are announcing you can be trusted with a future. The kind of person you are calling will hear that announcement like a familiar song. A final note in your preparation: protect wonder. Do not spend it on imagination that outruns facts. Do not punish it when a day is ordinary. Wonder keeps love soft after the cameras leave. Wonder will let you laugh together while paying bills, will let you pray together when words are few, will let you wait together when answers are slow. Keep it alive by noticing small things and naming them quietly. A breeze that smells like rain. A sentence you needed, overheard in a line. The way your heart did not sprint today when it would have last year. These are tiny rehearsals for gratitude, and gratitude is where love learns to stay. You will not finish this preparation and receive a certificate. You will simply wake up in a life that can carry what is walking toward you. Then, without trumpets, something beautiful will cross your path, and your whole self will answer. Not with panic or performance, but with a peace that says at last. Chosen one, the meeting will be smaller than legend promised and larger than language can hold. It will not arrive with spotlights, it will arrive with proportion. Perhaps the first sign will be that your breathing does not misbehave. The heart will lift, yes, but it will not riot. Peace will sit down next to excitement and they will not argue. Your spirit will register alignment before your mind completes its checklist. like a compass needle settling and then staying put. Do not audition. Do not narrate your significance to the moment. Let the moment speak. The first exchange may be clumsy or exquisite. Either way, attend to the honesty of it. Listen for sentences that carry weight without needing volume. Watch for jokes that don't wound to prove they are clever. Notice how easily both of you can say, "I don't know," without it sounding like failure. These are not niceties, they are load-bearing beams. Where they exist, build. Where they don't, bless and keep walking. Your high sexual energy will feel different here. It will not lunge, it will lean. It will not negotiate for discounts, it will invest in patience. The chemistry will be real enough to skip small talk, but do not let it skip truth. Let your attraction become attention. How does their face change when they talk about what matters? How do they treat interruptions that cost them convenience? How do they handle a gentle boundary, yours or their own? Attraction becomes sacred when it serves discernment instead of sabotaging it. The sacred encounter is recognized as much by what it is not as by what it is. It is not a countdown. No clock in the room will threaten either of you into a yes you cannot afford. It is not a sale. No pitch will convert admiration into obligation. It is not a rescue. Neither of you will pretend the other is a hospital for wounds you refuse to let God touch. It is, simply and gloriously, a conversation that continues to be human even while it hums with something holy. You will be tempted to read signs so closely that you stop reading the person. Resist superstition, masquerading as faith. Patterns may appear, numbers on a receipt, a lyric that repeats, a shared memory of a place you both once called home. Smile at them. Do not mortgage your judgment to them. The truest sign will be the one your nervous system offers without ceremony: rest. If you can be fully yourself without earning your oxygen, pay attention. If you can say a clear no without the atmosphere freezing, pay attention. If silence can visit without being forced to perform, pay attention. These are confirmations the body knows how to give long before the mind drafts its arguments. Set pace together on purpose. Offer the dignity of an unhurried follow-up, rather than the drama of constant contact you cannot sustain. When you do speak again, trade specifics rather than slogans. Not grand declarations, but, "Here is where I tell the truth, even when it is inconvenient. Here is how I end my day so that tomorrow can trust me. Here is what I am not good at, and what I am actively practicing." Vulnerability that names effort is safer than vulnerability that begs for rescue. You will both feel the difference. Protect the encounter from the committee. Keep it small long enough to hear it for yourself. Share with one or two whose discernment has history, not with the chorus line of opinions, however affectionate. Sacred things spoil in rooms that demand content. When you do invite your circle to meet this new goodness, watch how they respond to your wholeness. Real friends bless what makes you more yourself. They will not rush you or romanticize you. They will steady you. Their questions will sound like care, not curiosity dressed as gossip. There will be a threshold you cross together without announcing it. Perhaps it will be the first conflict that does not recruit spectators. Perhaps it will be the first apology that arrives without an invoice attached. Perhaps it will be the first plan you make that includes rest as a line item instead of a leftover. These small thresholds are sacraments. Mark them without theatrics. Gratitude is enough ceremony for beginnings that intend to last. Bring your practices into the encounter so the meeting has somewhere to live. Pray in ordinary ways, not as a performance but as a habit of returning the center to its rightful owner. Keep Sabbath shapes even while the newness tempts you to spend every hour together. Honor your work so you do not ask romance to do the job of purpose. Honor their work so you do not confuse access with love. In such a rhythm, passion does not have to prove itself by being constant, it proves itself by being faithful. Let words be accurate. Say I like you when you mean it and not before. Say I am curious about us at the speed of truth. Say I want to keep this clean even when it's warm. Accuracy is kindness when stakes are this high. It is also a hedge against regret, which grows best in the fields of exaggeration. You will discover that correct labels make affection more spacious, not less. They allow both of you to bring a future into the room without dragging it by the hair. Leave well in every chapter, even the very first evening. End before the night starts bargaining with what the morning would not cosign. A gentle goodbye is not a cooling of interest. It is an investment in tomorrow's clarity. When you part, carry each other as prayer rather than possession. Bless their sleep, bless their work, bless their pace. Release them back to God and to themselves. Encounters protected like this do not have to be rescued later from the story you told about them when you were tired. If the holy keeps appearing, your lives will begin to braid at a speed both of you can pay for. Families will be met, schedules will be adjusted, sacrifices will be made without martyrdom. The world around you will try to call this a merger. It is not. It is a covenant being courted by two people who still belong to God first. That order will be your kindness to each other in every season, because it keeps neither of you responsible for doing the work only heaven can do. And if, against odds and headlines, you discover that this is indeed the love of your life, resist triumphalism. Choose stewardship instead. Keep doing the ordinary things that made extraordinary possible. Clear speech, early endings, quick repairs, laughter without cruelty, desire that remains generous, faith that remains teachable. Months from now, when someone asks what the moment felt like when you knew, you might not have a single sentence to give them. You will have a life to point to, quiet, bright, governed, a life that made room for two souls to recognize each other without having to heal from the way they met. Chosen one, when two frequencies meet in the right season, they do not collide, they coordinate. This is the month your current learns choreography, and the steps are older than language. Think of how a tide negotiates with the moon. Pull, release, pull again. Never frantic, never inert, always faithful to an unseen rhythm. Your high energy has spent years learning not to burn through rooms. Now it learns how to move with another soul without demanding that they become a mirror. The dance begins before hands ever touch. It begins with how you listen. You will notice yourself leaning not forward to hurry a moment, but inward to understand it. The space between your words becomes breathable. Your attention stops performing and starts hosting. In that climate, attraction is permitted to slow down into accuracy, and accuracy is how passion becomes durable. The first measure of this dance is calibration. You will feel an impulse to prove your warmth, and you will let that impulse pass through you without recruiting it as a policy. The body does not need a demonstration to recognize safety. It needs a pace. Offer pace. Let your tone set a metronome the nervous system trusts, one that refuses to buy intimacy with urgency or trade clarity for novelty. You will discover that the highest compliment attraction can pay is neither flattery nor fireworks, but the sound of another person's breath lengthening while they speak to you. When that happens, do less, not more. You are witnessing alignment. It does not require amplification. It requires stewardship. There is a tenderness to leading that is not about control. In a good dance, the lead listens to the follow with their whole frame. They propose a direction quietly and are ready to change it the instant the shared balance asks for something different. Translate that to conversation, and you will find the steps. You suggest a subject, and if their eyes dim even a little, you turn gently, and the two of you face a different window. You notice when a story is more expensive for them to tell than the room can afford, and you build a chair out of silence and let them sit. You hear the hope hidden in a joke, and you bless the hope rather than harvesting the joke for laughter. In such movements, the body learns you will not spend it for spectacle. Awe becomes ease becomes trust becomes room for love to enter without holding its breath. Let the dance be fluent in consent, not as an intermission, but as the music itself. Consent is the beat that keeps improvisation honest. It is the nod before a step, the glance before a turn, the shared grin that says we are still with each other. Ask for proximity with the humility of a question whose answer might be no and remain beautiful. Offer exits that do not punish their taker. Keep your invitations accurate to your integrity, so the yes that follows is never coerced by charisma. When the music is consent, even desire can be holy. It will want, but it will not take. It will hunger, but it will not invoice. It will grow, but it will not crowd. You will learn the step called restraint without distance. Many mistake restraint for cold. This month teaches you its warmth. Restraint is how fire remembers it is a hearth and not a wildfire. You will feel moments where you could dazzle with disclosure, flood with attention, or purchase momentum with late hours. Choose the smaller, steadier step. Leave while tenderness is still bright. Save a story for the day it will bless rather than impress. Send the message when your honesty can pay for it. Each modest step is a vote for longevity over legend, and longevity is the floor where love learns to dance barefoot. Your energy will be tempted to rehearse old choreography, chasing, proving, collecting sparks because sparks feel like progress. Let the new rhythm be stronger than nostalgia. Sparks are valid and small. Do not force them to pretend to be a fire. You will know the kindling is real when conversation keeps its temperature without being stoked, when laughter does not need a casualty to be memorable, when pauses deepen rather than threaten. At that point, begin to share weight. Good dancers know when to carry and when to be carried. Share your calendar in ways that respect both lives.